So this is the Mechanics Homework Booklet, questions 42 and 43. 42 first, then we've got a diagram with a stress strain curve for two different metals, X and Y, X with a dotted line and Y with a straight line. And it asks which of the following is incorrect. Look out for those questions, they can make life more tricky. So is X stiffer than Y? Well, to get the same strain as Y, X needs a bigger stress. So that is stiffer, so that is true, therefore it's not the right answer. X has a higher value of Young modulus. Well, the value of Young modulus does tell you the stiffness of the material. So again, the Young modulus is the gradient of the straight line section of a stress strain curve. So that is true, that is not the correct answer. C, X is more brittle than Y. Well, brittle means there's no plastic deformation before it breaks. Given that X has a straight line section and then a curve, that implies that there is some plastic deformation there before it breaks at the end, and that suggests therefore that Y is brittle and X is not. So X is more brittle than Y is false is the correct answer, and we'll just check D. Y has the lower maximum tensile stress than X. Well, the biggest stress that Y takes before it breaks is smaller. It is a lower maximum tensile stress than X, so that's also a true statement, not the answer to the question. If we move on to 43, 43 is quite involved. You probably do it almost intuitively. So we've got these four different bars, A, B, C and D, and we're asked simply which has got the greatest extension. So what I did was compare everything to A. So if I compare B to A, B has got twice the force, and with twice the diameter it's got 4 times the area. Stress is force divided by area, so it's got half the stress that A has. Same Young modulus, so if it's got half the stress, it's got to have half the strain. Young's modulus is stress upon strain. And same original length, half the strain, it'll have half the extension that A has. So B will actually have half the extension of A. Let's have a look at C. C's got the same force on it, and we've got, again, double the diameter, which means I've got 4 times the area. This is pi r squared, remember. So I've got 4 times the area, so I've got a quarter of the stress. Same Young modulus again, which, so a quarter of the stress means I've got a quarter of the strain compared with A. I've got double the length, so with quarter of the strain and twice the original length, I'm going to have half of the extension, delta L, compared with A. So A is still the one which is giving me the biggest extension. And then finally we'll have a look at D. And with D, I've got 3 times the diameter, which means 3 times the diameter, which means 9 times the cross-sectional area. So we've got 3 times, that should say force. There we go. Let me scroll that on there. 3 times the force, and I've got 9 times the area. So force over area gives me a third of the stress compared with A. So I've got a third of the stress. That should be stress. If I've got a third of the stress, same Young modulus, it means I'm going to get a third of the strain. Twice the original length, that will give me twice the extension otherwise. So I've got 2/3 of the extension compared with A. And so each of those, B, C and D, we've got an extension smaller than A, so the answer is A. So that was the Mechanics Homework Booklet, questions 42 and 43.